Camnet Community Breakfast Show today, 31st January 2022. I am your host, Zipporah Mshala, and I'm joined by my co-host, Alex Shimba. Today, we're introducing for you a very special topic. Today, we'll be introducing to you a health segment where we'll be talking about our well-being in general. So we're going to be having medical doctors every week to talk about various health issues. So you can always engage us and let us know what topic you'd like us to talk about. Today, we're going to have Dr. Cheswa Valika, who is the president of the Zambia Medical Association, the Zambia Female Medical Association president, and we're just going to be introducing the topic today, the health segment. We will later at 8 hours, we're going to be joined by Mr. Evans Ngoma, the executive director of the Buy Zambia campaign. We're going to be talking about the promotion of Zambian products in general. As Zambians are aggressive enough in ensuring that the products fill the market, so we're just going to be talking about the role of us Zambians in ensuring that our products prevail on the market, even as we talk about the promotion of Zambian products. I'm joined by my host, Alex Shimba, today on this beautiful Monday. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Zipporah. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How was your weekend?
Well, as usual, it was fine.
It was fine. Were you exercising?
Restful. Yeah, I was, partly, but most of it resting and attending church on Sunday.
Actually, you attended church the whole day, Alex, yesterday.
Yeah,
in the morning I called you, you were like, I'm in church.
Exactly.
17, I called you, you were like, I'm in church. So I was like,
Exactly.
What kind of church is this? Is it trying to be a pastor?
There are churches which have.
Is it trying to be a pastor?
Not really. I'm just one of those committed member of church. No. Yeah. You know, you need to be committed to your Christian walk. So something to note, Zipporah, today happens to be the last day of January 2022, and obviously we've had a lot of things that we've looked at on this particular desk that happens to be a community desk, and it's something that we are glad to look back, and also those stories that made our faces look down because of their nature in terms of loss of lives in tragic accidents, floods happening. And also just the story we once did on the old woman in Kasupe.
Kasupe, yes.
Yeah, so those are things that we tried to actually update people about. So basically, as we go to another month, which is February, we still need to ensure that people are engaging in our program, talking about things that are affecting them in their compounds. So I was January basically. How can you summarize January from your aspect?
I think, like you said, if you remember very well, we began January with the drowning of the 6 youths from SDA.
From Siavonga, yeah.
So you find that just at the beginning of the year, we had this tragedy. Then just last week, we lost over about, is it 14 people who died in that tragic accident? Over 14, because like 24 died later in the hospital.
The death started just increasing to up to 18 people. I should think so, yeah.
Yes, and we also had the same accident. Then again yesterday we witnessed a case of drowning in Chilanga district, and another drowning again last week where 2 people drowned in Chilanga. So I think January, really, maybe we need some more prayers and all that.
You think so?
I think so.
See, it's weird. Great, but yeah, that's just, and we would love to even get, people's reaction in pertaining the school opening, because last week happens to be the first week that actually schools opened, and parents were allowed in some sections of our communities, for instance the Bowlen, where they were forcing pupils to buy uniforms from the school, and parents protested that there is no way education can be free, and the president and the UPND administration has promised free education, but then it comes with the forcing of buying uniforms in particular schools. So basically those are the stories that made quite noise, both in mainstream media and also on social media, I must mention. So January has been quite an interesting month, and we hope for the best come February.
We're going to have the best, definitely, and I'm sure you know why. That's my birthday month.
Really?
So we're going to have the best in February.
No wonder you're putting on red. It's a month of love, they say. Yeah, we hope so, really. And we hope to have continue reduced cases of COVID-19, because we are doing well as it stands in terms of the number of cases. We have had quite a huge reduction in records. So basically we hope that the cases can actually go down. And this talking of COVID, you in your preamble you mentioned that you'll be having a healthy segment, not just today, but it will be coming every day in every week. So at whichever particular interview that you're going to be having or show, whether it's community, sports, business, politics, the health segment will be there. So we encourage the people out there to actually prepare for this interesting segment that will be actually helped by our very own doctors, local and trained, competent, to actually answer your questions. Yeah.
And so, Alex, before we start our day, you know what to do. Every day for you, Mr. Zambia.
Yeah, we are getting there. I can assure you, just a matter of a jacket. But when
one day we're going to ask you to demonstrate.
Yeah, I will. Maybe in April, my
or maybe June.
Month.
Let's give it 6 months. You know, happy year.
Oh, you know. Yeah, that's
okay,
fair
so
enough.
with that, we're going to have a little stretch. So it's time for the morning boost.
Good morning, welcome. I started with a warm-up before I stepped in here, and let's do it now. 5 minutes workout. Make sure that your partner joins in, your children that comes in, and let's do something today now. So this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna start with the hands now. Shoulder press. Let's go. I'm gonna do 40, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many? 30. 1, 2, 3. Go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. Great workout. I'm already feeling this. So let's go. I'm dealing with the hands. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Next 10, I'm going to bring the hands to the front now. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so we've done 60 for the hands. Let's go now. Remember last time I was here, we were running, we were jumping. So today we're going to do it differently now. Here we go. There you go. Stay at that. Just stretch your legs. Good for you in the morning. Let's go. Stretch. There you go. There you go. Let's go. Let's go. Stay at it. Keep doing it. You feel like your legs are becoming heavy? It's part of the workout. Let's go. Awesome stuff. You're doing well. Keep pushing. Don't lean on anything unless you can't really stand the intensity of the workout. Let's go. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. All right. Awesome stuff. Okay, I'm going to give you something now. Remember, you need to do this every morning before you leave. Okay. Basic push-ups. That's what you're going to do now. Lock your legs, kneel down, and come down here. Let's go. 1. 10. Let's go. I'm going to give you a 5-second break, but it's within my time. Take a break. You can do 5 minutes, seconds. You can do 10. So 20 more. We do 40. Let's go, Team Camnet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you take your 10-second break, but I'm not going to take that long break. Okay, last 10. Then I've given you 40 push-ups. Anybody can do this, you kneel. Let's go, last 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great stuff. All right. Thank you so much. And that's it for today. I'm going to see you again next time at the same time. Make sure that you do this every morning before you go for your duties. Thank you. I sign out. Machisa Isaac is my name.
Welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful stretch with us. Alex, how was your experience during the exercise?
Yeah, it's quite impressive that I'm getting all those gymnastics that man is doing. You know, the first time I attempted to follow him, it was really hard. But
you
now,
get tired fast,
yeah,
but as you
but
go,
now
you start feeling refreshed, actually.
Exactly. So we are getting there each day that comes. So next on our show, we'll be having just the money market to update you how the money market looks as you go in various businesses and also various activities. So the US dollar by close of yesterday is buying at 17 kwacha 0.81 ngwe, selling at 18 kwacha 0.16 ngwe. The euro is buying at 18 kwacha 0.89 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 0.26 ngwe. The British pound is buying at 23 kwacha 0.90 ngwe and selling at 24 kwacha 0.37. The rand is actually buying at 1 kwacha 0.15 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 0.17 ngwe. That's how the picture looks like today as you go in various businesses endeavors. So really, we've seen a bit of fluctuation, Zipporah, from the first update we did in January to this far. We have seen a bit of fluctuation because if you remember, the first week we updated at somewhere 16 in terms of US dollar exchange rate. Yeah, but now it has slightly increased to 17. That's buying and 18 selling. So we've seen a bit of fluctuation there.
Yes, and I'm actually just checking here, $1,000. How much is 1,000 US dollars in Zambian kwacha? And here it's giving me 17,986 kwacha, 11 ngwe. But you find that last week it was somewhere 16,000 kwacha something. And last night actually I checked. Last night it was on 18,000 kwacha something. So you find that just like from last night to today it has reduced a bit, but then the issue is the fluctuation, which is not stable.
Yeah, we need a stable.
So I look forward to a point where $1,000 would be maybe 15,000. Then it means at least we're getting there.
How loves. So if you are getting paid in dollars,
it means you're rich.
I'm just thinking from here it would be like a pay is just too small to get a 1,000 from any kind of work you're doing
here, but in
dollars. Wow.
$1,000. Then you're rich.
We'll end there. Yeah, so basically we are going to jump in the stories that made headlines last night bulletin. So basically we had quite a number of interesting stories. Zipporah might mention interesting and sad at the same time. We had the drowning story that you did. Just maybe tell us before we get to play the clip, what was it about and who was involved in the story?
So actually the councillor alerted me.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was saying that this dam called Tubalange Dam, and people have got gardens there because he says the area lacks boreholes. So most people have got their gardens there, they get water directly from the dam to avoid carrying buckets all the way. You know how it is, like they don't have irrigation machines, so they prefer to have their gardens just near the dam. So it's a place where people go regularly. And so there's this man named Mr. Amos Piri. He's actually a senior citizen. He said, the councillor says he was born in 1957, which makes him 65 years this year.
Okay.
And so I'm told it's actually one of the, I'm told about over 5 people have drowned in the dam so far. And I'm told the same man is actually one of the main people who used to retrieve the dead bodies from the dam. So you find that him now getting drowned in the same, that's kind of like ironic, you know? Yeah,
quite ironic. So is the 6th person now to...
Yes, somewhere there. So the statistics are not really sure, like they're not really formally counted, but they're saying they're over 5. Okay. So some are saying 6, 8, but you just know they're over 5.
Oh, okay.
And so according to his relative in the story that we did, you find that the man, unfortunately, the relative says they were drinking chibuku together. Previously, in the same Friday afternoon, they were drinking chibuku together, and then the man said he was feeling hot, he was going to take a swim at the dam, and that's how he never came back. So I don't know if it's because of the alcohol or or maybe it was attacked by some animal there. I don't know. You know, some people, some of these dams have got monitor lizards and all that. You can never really know what happened. I'm sure maybe the post-mortem. We hope us know better what really happened to him. But before we preempt anything, let's get into that story and we'll come back and discuss more in detail. After searching for 2 days in the waters of Tubalange Dam of Chilanga district, the body of Amos Piri, a 65-year-old man of the same area, was found floating in the dam in the early hours of Sunday morning. According to Kanchule village headman Mr. Stephen Banda, the wife of the deceased reported to him Friday evening that her husband had left for the dam to cool off in the afternoon of the same day, but had not returned by night time. He has called for the dam to be quickly fenced off, stating that over 5 people have drowned in the same dam so far.
Friday, wabula banyunze noti yayi bamuna wange ne bakitabani baenda ku dam kuja swana bwerere. Mene banaendera choka yesterday swana bwerere then tabula tayanga nangana then nabwera natumira ku vakansela nao banabwera babwera bwera kusingiza then kuchoka hapo bakira tunaenda ku police. So ba police banana noti yemlekezerani. Oni moment naonera kesi.
Meanwhile, a relative of the deceased has narrated what happened.
okuya kuja basangira kitako ata kanchi kale npepa no mwala test ekyo bali wala akachero bayise basangira ati nakunganda takwayishiro babwereruka kuzikuli ata tamoneka ati kanchi kale ni tubemtere ku matuo bintu abo twashire mwana fyo muntu ndi ayisa okusate bato kulitya kufala kulya namajombo ibo twayimina mvirecho misa kuno twasangira kwa.
In a phone interview, area councillor Mr. Tungenengene Chinoya also says majority of residents have gardens near the dam due to the lack of boreholes in the area. He therefore says the solution is to construct more boreholes, while stating that he will engage relevant authorities to have the dam fenced off.
Okay, initially the dam was built some years back by the former Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Enoch Savindele. And then there was also some sort of concern from the residents around to say we don't need the dam here because a lot of lives will be lost. But there was an assurance to say the dam will be fenced. So we are yet to again assessing as to who is responsible to fence off the dam. But I think as government we need to take it up.
The body has since been deposited in the mortuary of the University Teaching Hospital, awaiting burial. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News. So that's a sad story there where a senior citizen, who's actually one of the people who used to help retrieve dead bodies from the dam, actually died in the same dam. So, Alex, this was after a 2-day search, you can imagine.
From Friday.
he went missing on Friday. His wife, by somewhere 19, his wife reported to the headman saying, my husband went to the dam in the afternoon, he's not returned. So the headman notified the councillor, the same councillor in the audio, Mr. Tungenengene Chinua, notified the councillor saying, there's this case here, this man named Mr. Amos Piri went to the dam and has not returned, and so his wife is worried. And so I'm told they went to the dam. They went to the dam just to check, and for sure they found boots, gumboots. If you heard from the relative, they said they found gumboots and his clothes just in a pile by the side. And so they're like, what does this mean? It means he's in the water, and
for sure.
He's nowhere to be found. And so it was at night. They really couldn't do anything. You know, it's at night. You can't see anything. You're not prepared. You do not have flashlights and all that. You're not prepared for this. And so I'm told the next day they went there. Like, so they're like, okay, we'll come and search what really happened here tomorrow. The next day they called the whole group of people. They went searching for him in boats and all that, searching. They didn't see anything. So they searched, and then at night, that was Saturday. Saturday night, the councillor called me saying, we've not found the body. We've been searching all day, we've not found the body. So tomorrow we're going to maybe invite some people, is it some experts from Kapiwe?
The divers.
They don't provoke the water, so that maybe by pumping in more water so that the body can float. But then it so happened that, you remember on Saturday night it rained almost the whole night. So by 6 hours Sunday morning, they found the body floating. So that's what really happened. It was really, really a sad story there.
Quite unfortunate. And the same councillor actually is calling for this dam to be fenced off. You know, I remember one story that we even did from, is it Kasisi compound? Misisi, yeah, Misisi compound with the Ngwenya Dam that has been, you know, taking quite a number of lives from there. It's a similar story. So I don't know if we can have these dams be fenced so that we avoid such cases, because if someone would go at any time to go and have to bath or to wash clothes or to wash whatever domestic activities that they can feel like at any time, I think that shouldn't be, you know, accepted. If there's a fence, there should be even a gate being locked, guarded, and everyone who wants to access the dam should actually have
a
good reason to access the dam. I think that will actually, you know, get rid of such.
And this issue of dams being open, actually, I think it's almost everywhere. I remember when I was young, where I was staying somewhere in Southern Province, there was actually such a place where, like, you just go there, you swim and all that. But then if you're just little kids, and anything can happen to you. So I'm sure these dams really have to be fenced off. And
especially that we are now in the rain season, these dams are unpredictable. If you heard the warning from Minister of Green Economy.
And DMMU.
Yeah, and DMMU, you should, as it stands now, especially with the warned storm, that is the Anna, we shouldn't be found under the tree or maybe
flooded
areas, going in unnecessary bridges which are not even well done. These are the times that we can actually avoid such movements so that we get to safeguard ourselves.
Yeah, last year in Mumbwa, that was 2021, right? So somewhere in February, we had actually, if you remember, Mumbwa last year was heavily affected by floods. Some people even died in the floods in Mumbwa. Some people were carried away by I think there were about 2 deaths recorded. And there's this dam there. You find that the dam burst. I was talking to the area MP, Mr. Credo Nanjua. He's now the Central Province Minister.
Oh, yeah, Central Province.
In that time, you find that it rained so heavily that the dam burst. Now imagine such floods, and then you're found in such an area, you're going to die, definitely.
Yeah, and the current is just overwhelming. You can't actually survive. You know, especially for the kids, it becomes quite sad story. So basically, I think the calling or the appeal from relevant authorities is quite genuine. I feel these dams should be fenced off. You know, they should just do as required. Yeah. So basically, as we are viewing the headlines, we have another story talking of the floods. The story that was done by Zanis, and we actually looked at the Lusaka Province Active Permanent Secretary, who's Robert Kamalata, who's saying government is devising ways in which culverts can be placed to prevent floods, in which which is a common occurrence in Garden House compound in Lusaka. And I feel it's not just Garden House. There are other compounds which have been affected by the same floods.
Even Kanyama,
I don't know
there
how
last
genuine
week.
that picture was. I saw this picture where the crocodile was on top of the hut in one of the villages, meaning it was...
If it's in the village, it's okay, I don't know about the hut,
you can imagine, that's a roof level where the crocodile is.
How
just,
high was the water?
It's obviously it's just submerged all the house, and then the crocodile which was floating, it's on top of the, meaning where the people, that was my question, where the people.
Oh, crocodile on top of the roof.
Yeah, and the water is just, you know.
Especially in villages, I feel this is very dangerous. If you find that floods are merging with rivers, then you're worried about the welfare of the people.
I tell you, so it's becoming quite dangerous. So it's actually saying they are putting up measures to avoid such occurrences. And okay, I have a problem with this. Why do we always act in the middle of something? You understand? Instead of us being a bit proactive in terms of addressing certain things before we have disasters such as this. So talk of culverts. These are things that were supposed to be done a long time, even maybe say mid-year of 2021, so that you are preparing for the incoming of the rainfall. So basically, this, as much as it is a good call, but it was supposed to be done quite earlier than this time. But before we preempt, let's take a look at this story.
With this heavy current, one would think it's a stream, but it is supposed to be a road in Garden House compound in Lusaka. The area is flooding following heavy rains that started yesterday.
We depend on underground water. Since we drink this water, then we are just tasting a salty water which is contaminated. And at least 6 of my siblings have suffered from diarrhea.
The shallow wells and pit latrines are submerged.
Our children are using tins.
We use water from the wells. We don't have taps. We don't have...
Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu says the new road was built without proper drainages, leading to flooding in the area.
Surely, honestly, how can you do a road without drainages? How did they expect these people to survive without any better drainages? It's not good.
Acting Provincial Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata, who lives in Garden House compound, says government will put up culverts to curb the situation. Flooding is a common occurrence in Garden House.
We are on the community desk today, the 31st of January 2022, which happens to be the last Monday of this month. And we've been reviewing the stories that made headlines on community desk with me and my co-host Zipporah Mshala. But now, in trying to introduce the new segment that we earlier alluded to, the health segment, we are joined by our guest who's going to actually help us do that, Dr. Cheswa Vualika, the president for Medical Women Association of Zambia. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
How are
Good
you
morning,
doing?
Doc. Morning.
Great. And so basically, this is the first time that we're having the community desk and having the medical segment. And basically, we are going to be having health issues being discussed from this panel. Just tell us a bit of your expectation in this segment.
All right. So when we, as the Medical Women Association, heard that you were about to start to raise awareness on the many important health topics, because our one of our missions is to be the leading advocate for health for Zambian women and girls, and we want to raise awareness on these topics. So we are ready to get on board and work with you to talk to the community out there so that people are given the right information And if they have any questions, they are able to have their questions answered.
There you have it. Health happens to be the most crucial part of every human being. And if you have questions in anything that actually relates to you, or maybe your family member, your friend, your community, this is the right segment to actually engage the doctor, and you'll be able to be helped in various issues pertaining this segment. Zipporah.
And so, Doc, first of all, being a woman in medicine, can you just give us maybe a general picture out there? Are there enough women in the medical fraternity?
Okay. So, I'm sure most of us, when we go to the hospital, the picture that we have is that a doctor should be a man. But I'm happy to state that we have more women who are joining the medical field. We're having more women who are joining the medical field. And in fact, for us as the Medical Women Association of Zambia, our mission, in fact, our vision is to be the hub for the personal and professional development of women, medical women and students in Zambia. We want to encourage that more women take up this role, because we have seen that we are able and we are capable. And I am proud to say that there are a lot of medical doctors who are rising up the ranks. And we have specialists in all the fields, so much that even when we bring specialists to come on this program, we are going to bring those who are consultants. We've got medical consultants in all the fields, be it surgery, be it medicine, be it public health, be it psychiatry, be it in the medical field. We have specialists in all these fields who will come and talk to the community and answer the questions that they will ask.
First of all, I'm expectant personally. I hope I will be able to actually ask also questions. I don't know how possible that is as being host. Yes, just before we get to dive in one of the issues to give us maybe the statistics on COVID, we're just going to take a short break, and we'll come back. We're going to dive right into that.
It's becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Community Breakfast Show. We have with us here on set Dr. Chesa Valika, the President of the Medical Women Association of Zambia. We are actually introducing the health segment to you today. And so right now we're just looking at the current COVID-19 statistics so that we can discuss with the doctor on the current COVID situation in Zambia. So as of yesterday, we have COVID statistics here. As of yesterday, 30th January, confirmed cases were 266. Out of 2,811 tests, we have 578 recoveries. We have those who are vaccinated with dose 1, 3,265. Those who are fully vaccinated, 5,151. Those who have the booster vaccine, the booster shot, 289. COVID-19 deaths were 1. COVID-associated deaths, 0. We have those who are currently admitted at 75, those who are under community management at 3,607. So, Doc, we have seen a general reduction in the COVID situation. So does this mean our community now has to relax since we have a reduction in the numbers?
Actually, even though the numbers are going down, even though here we are happy to hear that the deaths have also reduced, and we only have one death, that is still a death too many. That is a family member, that could be a father, that could be a breadwinner. There is still a lot of pain and suffering that goes even with the one death. So even though the numbers seem to be going down, we should not let our guard down. We should still continue to follow the 5 golden rules that we have been taught. And most important, if you are not vaccinated, you should still go out there and get vaccinated, because that is a sure way of protecting yourself from getting this disease. So we are telling the community that yes, the figures are going down, but still that one admission is an admission too many. That one death is a death too many. So let's still continue to do what we must do to protect ourselves, because COVID can be prevented.
We have seen the community relaxing, maybe in terms of even buses, most people seem relaxed. I'm sure they only want to maybe take action. There's someone who they know has got COVID. So maybe do you think there's need for more sensitization out there?
The sensitization needs to continue, and that's why we are here. And even some of the topics that we'll talk about is to encourage the community to still do what we're supposed to do. We still see people relaxing too much, where they have the celebrations, the weddings, the Chilanga Mulilos, and all these functions, where even the funerals, where people do not wear their masks. Unfortunately, that is where people are getting COVID. And even if, in some cases, some of the people who are getting infected, it's quite mild, for those who have comorbidities, so those who have other illnesses such as diabetes and hypertension or cancer, or the immune system is low, we see that this disease is still taking its toll, and people are spending unnecessary time in hospital, and in some cases we actually lose lives. So we are here to say, please don't put down your guard, follow all those rules that we are supposed to, the hand washing, the sanitizing, stay at home if you can, the social distancing, and if you feel ill, go to the nearest health center so that they let you know whether it's COVID or it's not, and you get the treatment that you're supposed to.
Great. And there's just talking of symptoms, there's a tendency of just not wanting to go to health facilities by some people, feeling like I'm going to maybe just drink some painkillers or just prescribe myself, as it were, so that I just go soon. What would you say to that kind of response to these symptoms?
Yes, and unfortunately, there's been too much self-medication, and it's even sad to note that sometimes people can get antibiotics, which are not prescribed by a health profession, and the side effects take their toll on these people because they are taking medication that they are not supposed to. So it is very important to seek medical attention, should it be at the clinic, or at least get the opinion of somebody in the health system to advise you, rather than, I know there's a lot of Googling now, Dr. Google.
Dr. Google,
Dr. Google, yes. There's a lot of people self-prescribing, which sometimes can be okay if it's mild, but in many cases, you may miss out something very important. When you go to the health facility, there are a number of tests that we are able to do so that we know exactly what we are dealing with, because it may not be COVID that you have. It may be something serious that needs to be tackled. So we are encouraging people not to be their own doctors, but to go to the health center, at least be seen, and then you'll be advised. You can be given the medication. You may be told you actually don't need this, but tests will be done to know exactly what you have and the correct treatment given.
Well, that and more will be actually discussed from this particular segment, which we are calling the health segment, being helped by various doctors, specialized ones and those that handle different issues, so that you can actually engage them and ask questions where necessary. Doctor, we don't feel to keep you long, as it were, because this is just the introduction. Maybe just one last remark, an appeal to the community out there as you close on this segment.
All right, so our appeal to the community is we are here to raise awareness on various topics, but we also want to hear from you. Some of the topics that we'll talk about will be what's trending. We know that every month there are commemoration days or commemoration months. For example, February we'll be talking about epilepsy, because on the 4th is World International Epilepsy Day. We'll also have World Cancer Day in February. But if there are any topics that you would want us to tackle, if there are any questions that you want us to talk about, we are ready to do the research. We are ready to come and pick the right person so that they come here and give you the facts. There'll be short programs, but there'll be nuggets, meaning there'll be very short but very important facts that you need to know.
Okay, just before I let you go, Doc, we've got these 2030 goals, and SDG number 3, helps to achieve good health and well-being by 2030. Do you think we're on the right track right now? Are we going to achieve that? What's the general picture on the health sector?
There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and this cannot only be done by medical profession. We need the community to also get on board. So yes, we are in the right direction, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done for us to reach our goals.
Great. Dr. Cheswa Valika, President for Medical Women Association of Zambia, actually was taking us through the introductory part of the new segment that we've introduced, dubbed Health Segment, which will be every day, every week on this particular morning breakfast shows, from community to politics and also to business. So we actually expectant that you'll be actually coming on board with questions, contributions on various health matters. With just for the benefit of those who are joining us, she was actually reviewing just some issues on health matters. That is Dr. Cheswa Valika, as earlier mentioned. We'll just take a short break, and we'll come back, we'll continue with our breakfast show.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
That was it. We had Dr. Cheswa Valika, and we're hopeful that tomorrow you join us. Tomorrow we're going to open the phone lines right from the health segment. We're talking about achieving good health and well-being for all in 2030. This means even people in rural areas want to make sure that the country is healthy. A healthy country is a productive country, because we're going to have a healthy human resource to actually drive the country to its development agenda. So we hope tomorrow you'll be able to join us and just give your questions to the doctor on the health topic that we're going to choose tomorrow. And so, Alex, now before we delve into the 8 hours interview, we have basically we're talking about the promotion of Zambian products. If you look at first of all, in Zambia, we've been talking about how the education system has been infiltrated with the theoretical in comparison to the practical aspect. And so because of that, many people say that is the reason that the Zambian market does not really have a lot of Zambian products, because most people want formal jobs, they want formal employment. And so now we're talking about going the entrepreneurial way. We're talking about driving our own development agenda.
Exactly.
But we've seen that Zambians do not really seem to be up to par with the expectations. You remember about last year when the importation of potatoes was banned. Zambians failed to actually live up to that, and actually they had to open the market again.
Yeah, so to provide potatoes locally. Yeah, that's quite true, Zipporah, because we've been having, I don't know if it comes from the education background where we don't have more practical, more practical courses to study. But contrary to that, we are too, like you mentioned, too theoretical. We just get to study and memorize, and you go to have an exam, you pass, you make it, you know. But the core is to have hands-on kind of jobs where you're going to actually manufacture something that is of necessary to the Zambian people, and also contributing to the national GDP. Because if at all we are reluctant on this agenda of promoting our own products, we'll be having a lagging kind of approach to economy, and relying on other countries to actually supply what we need as our necessities. Talk of fruits, for instance. For God's sake, do we need to still export apples, mango from South Africa at this time and era? So that's quite something that we're going to actually dive into when we get the guest for today.
Yes, definitely, Alex. And so basically, the Buy Zambia campaign is emphasizing on the community actually doing something for there to be something to promote. Because you're saying local products, but where are the local products?
Even talk of local product and
the quality as well has to be up to par. Of course, you can't say it's a liberal market, so you can't say we ban all international products. It's a liberal market, and Zambians actually have to have a high standard to compare to. To
compete, actually. Yeah, so if I get to buy any beverage from a local store, and I consume that, and then I buy another from another foreign store, I should have that thing to say, I think both are good, or even ours is better.
I think maybe we're going to see an improvement, especially with the Ministry of SMEs now. We hope that will set the trajectory for Zambians to actually develop that entrepreneurial mindset.
Exactly.
And so that we can have maybe some of the best innovations actually coming here from Zambia.
Yeah, not just from the food aspect, even from things like cars. We'd love to have our own, you know.
And speaking of that, Alex, I think last year I did a story of a young man in China who invented the prototype of an aeroplane.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But then the challenge that such people lack is funding, because according to him, he's worked on that project for 2 years. His prototype airplane is even starting off. And so basically, it's even environmentally friendly because it does not emit any gas.
Oh, yeah.
So if we're talking about green climate and all that, so you find that these things need the support. He does not have funding for the same. So you find that such dreams just die because there's no adequate funding for the same.
Yeah, those are the things that government should actually be rushing to support, because it's rare to have such talent. And trust me, we have a lot of capable hands out there who are talented to do whatever thing that we might desire in Zambia. Talk of food production, you know, other things that can be actually produced locally. So these are the things that we're going to actually look into with the guest for today, to just find out how far we've gone in promoting our own products, and also what necessary measures should be put in place to actually promote our own local products. Like you said, we are in a competition, so we need to actually level up our product in terms of quality let's not be disappointed to have locally product be made from here, and then we go out, it's spoiled the other day, then you feel, just because it's Zambian, you know. Let's not have that kind of a narrative. I think the narrative should be changed in terms of going forward. When we make something, let it be long-lasting and comparatively okay and good enough.
And we've also seen, we've been talking about the high prices of fuel. In December, we saw this man from Chantumbu area coming up actually with an innovation. It's actually a company, an energy company, but they're using the very basics. Plastics that we throw away, tires, that used car tires. So you find that we have people who are actually trying to preserve the environment while actually trying to make something out of it. So they're making fuel that is petrol and diesel. And so according to their production, they're saying it's actually 10 kwacha per liter. So you find that these are local products maybe which they should actually teach other people out there so that we can be having our own fuel manufactured locally here in Zambia.
I feel the knowledge is out there plainly available, because I also interacted with one of the young people when there was an exhibition, just first days when the Ministry of Technology came in place. You know, the Minister Felix Mutati actually toured some companies, and also having exhibition of products, different local products being exhibited in at somewhere Sun Hotel. So there was a lot of young people with different kind of projects, some with robots, others with fuel. So the knowledge of how to do things, really, people know, but the issue is, like you said, the funding, but the implementation of these products. You can have a prototype, but if it's not well funded, it can't see the light of day, because you don't have the means of actually putting it on the market. So we have a lot of people who actually know how to make these things. You talk of the robots, talk of the fuel, you know. There was even this person who had this type of charcoal specifically, which can go for long hours, even as long as 8 hours plus hours without ceasing its burning, you know. So you find that there are these technologies coming on board through these young people, the youth themselves, thinking, studying, and getting to know these formulas of other things. But the issue is on the funding part. You have the prototype, but who's going to actually boost you to give it an ability to get on the market? So those are the things that actually people are calling for. Promote us. We have the know-how, experience, but just the funding which is lacking.
Yes, and going forward, since we now have the new Ministry of Science and Technology, I think that's something that we have to consider, maybe expanding or maybe giving a hefty budget allocation to this ministry. Because we find that the last time I visited, there's this, it's a National Council for Science and Technology, the one based by Long Acres. And so I actually pitched to them the idea of this same young man who invented the prototype of an airplane. And so they were saying, yes, we have some funding, but it's limited, and they actually have to compete for it. So maybe if there's an expansion to maybe the scheme, because it's not really everything that you find that maybe some people have good projects, but due to lack of funding, they do not get, due to lack of limited funding, their ideas actually die. So if we have a large funding base, I'm sure I would see many of these ideas coming to life.
Yeah, the people say they, in our own native language, to say local is laka, meaning you never go wrong when you go and promote something which is locally being done. So basically, let's have that phrase to be a reality. Local is like, so that we promote our own products. How I hope we can have a generation where things can be at least 70% be done locally, from the transportation to the food industry. It can be a good approach to economy, I can assure you. So talking of that, the Buy Zambia Campaign Executive Director, Evans Ngoma, is actually going to be joining us shortly on this platform to discuss that issue, that is, are Zambian products being promoted enough? That's a question posed to you also to contribute and question the guest for today. We'll just take a short break. When you come back, we'll dive right into that. Stay tuned.
From 31st January to 6 February 2022, Zambia's spiritual atmosphere will take a paradigm shift. The Bible says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Zambia, a nation under God conference
will be starting at 20:45 hours
to 22:30 hours.
Live on Camnet TV channel 274 on DSTV, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Speakers will be
Bishop Stanley Siminyola, Grace Ministries;
Dr. Nevas Mumba, Victory Ministries;
Apostle Michael Mutemwa from South Africa;
Bishop Nelly Chikwanda, New Life Christian Center;
Apostle Rick Kamwanga, Risen Life Church International;
Bishop Joy Makando, Bread of Life;
Bishop Alex Mwami of Holy Ghost Firehouse from South Africa; and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua.
Camnet Television,
not just another channel. TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back to our breakfast show. In case you're just joining us, we've been discussing quite a lot of things on this particular show. We're a community, and what we deal with is stories that affect your communities. And right here, we just dive into a main topic for today, which is Zambian products being promoted enough. Note that, take note of the phone calls that are open now, so that you can actually be able to contribute and ask questions. In the studio, we have Buy Zambia Campaign Executive Director Evans Ngoma to help us discuss this particular topic. Mr. Ngoma, good morning.
Morning, thank you.
How are you doing this last Monday of the month?
I'm doing quite well. It's been a rainy night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think we expect these rains to continue until maybe throughout February, so that we can have the desired harvest. You know, they came in really late.
Food security. That was so.
Sure.
Basically,
good morning.
Morning, Zipporah. How are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you.
We're discussing the Zambian products, those which are locally done. So before we just get to that, tell us a bit more about the campaign dubbed Zambia by Zambia. Just background of how it came about and what's your role.
Thank you so much. The Buy Z campaign, deliberately coined it in that fashion, Buy Z. You know, 60% of the Zambian population is youthful, okay? And so now anything done towards the youths, it goes very far. So the Z, the Buy Z, is a street language. You know, the street guys, they call it street lingo.
Okay.
It goes very well with the street guys, because then it will be on their mouth each time they talk.
It's relatable.
So
local is laka.
Yeah, sure. But when you go local is laka, we do not want to be copy and paste, because that one is a campaign that is done in South Africa.
Okay.
So on us as Buy Z, you will never hear us talk about laka. I think Zipporah, you've been with me for some time. You've never heard me talk laka, because that one, it will be like we are copying what is done in South Africa.
Okay.
So that one, we leave it out.
So strictly
should be
Z.
Yeah, Buy Z. We should be our own creation. We should innovate our own terminologies. Sure. So yeah, Buy Z was formed in 2017. That was a time when I just failed my contest as a member of parliament in Lundazi, where I was contesting under the Patriotic Front. But no, that one I was independent. But in 2011, I stood on a Patriotic Front ticket when a Patriotic Front was very unpopular at that time. And then in 2016, I was not adopted under the PF, and then I said, hey, let me try to go solo. I went in as an independent, but still I could not manage to amass the much needed votes in order for me to be elected as a member of parliament. Why a member of parliament, first of all? You know, I thought that as a member of parliament, that is an influential position, a position whereby people would come to you, oh, my honorable, we need this. So I said, maybe I become a member of parliament and see how best I can add to the growth of the nation. When that bid failed, I said, I must come up with something. I still feel I'm relevant to this nation. And that's how the BIZ campaign was born. Then I was in Chinsali. Yeah, I was doing some business in Chinsali.
We are talking about 2016 now.
Now that after election, you know, August, the elections were held in August. I think towards the end of August, I had already relocated to Chinsali to pursue some business venture. You know, a colleague friend of mine did boost me with some financing, so I had gone to Chinsali there. Whilst there, I was alone in the room, okay, just thinking about how best. Then one morning I was standing by the roadside there at the turnoff, at Chinsali turnoff, where at T Junction, Nambuluma. I was there watching, looking at the volume of trucks going to Tanzanian side, to Nakonde side, and coming into Lusaka. When I see trucks moving from Lusaka going to Nakonde, the containers were empty, nothing loaded in them. If it is loaded, then it's a few trucks laden with copper, you know, going to the Dar es Salaam port. But when coming from Nakonde going into Lusaka, the containers are sealed. Okay, that meant that there was a trade imbalance. Okay, so I said, what is happening? And then I relocated again to Mansa, and so whilst there, I did notice that as a country, we were only sending out raw materials that we could add value to. In Mansa, there were two activities that were happening. Number one, the manganese, you know, that's where Mansa batteries used to be. You know, you remember the batteries, Yuka batteries. You may not remember, but we had...
From the books, maybe.
Yeah, from the books, from the archives. Yeah. The Yuka batteries, Godfrey, whatever, you know. So, the plant there now, it is normal. So now, the investors are coming in to extract minerals, which they export for further processing out there. People were selling those minerals. A ton would fetch as low as 350 kwacha, a ton of manganese. And so I said,
350.
This is very, very unfair. I think we must begin to look into things that will add value to ourselves. You know, so slowly by slowly, I started by scrubbing the publications like Times and Daily, Must would carry my stories, and then slowly we are where we are today. The idea is to see if I can instill some sense of belonging, that which is made with our own hands, it is good, more especially when it comes to the food as well as non-food items. You know, when it comes to food, these are foodstuffs that are fresh, straight from the farm. It only takes less than 2 to 3 days before we consume. Unlike if we embrace these refrigerated container trucks that are coming all the way from across borders, bringing in foodstuffs. Some of them have been sitting on the ocean for close to 2 to 3 months in order for them to be transported further into inland places like Zambia, you know. The food stuff that is not fresh, you know, and for it to be conserved to reach those stages, you know, there are kind of a lot of chemical substances in order to preserve them, apart from freezing it. And so when you eat local, you are assured of eating fresh and sometimes organic. Okay, these are foodstuffs that have not been sprayed using any pesticide in order to grow them. Very, very high value foodstuffs. And so, as by said, we are saying, let us buy that which you know where it is being produced. You know where it is being grown. You know, if you have any complaints in case of value-added products, you would even see the telephone number there. You can quickly see, oh, Mungwi Road. I live at Mungwi. You can even call them and say, oh, I bought your tomato paste. I think it is not tasting well. The producers of these various products are waiting for our complaints or our compliments. There are two things: complaints or compliments towards what they produce. Let it not only be a complaint always, but we can as well compliment them. That yes, I think you are providing us with foodstuffs that are too good as compared to what we have been consuming that comes from across borders.
An interesting history.
Yeah, and so you know the danger about embracing foreign products. That which we can produce ourselves is that we've seen lately there have been companies that have been recalling product batches, that we are recalling product batch number so-so to so-so, which was supplied to countries like Zambia, Malawi, and other places, that it did not pass the standard. And so now you can see, again, as by said, we would also like to engage the Zambia Bureau of Standards, who are sitting at these frontiers where the goods are entering from. Are they surely doing their normal laboratory analysis on these product ranges? Because how come they did not notice that the product has failed the test? Because then we are being harmed as consumers of these various products. Sure.
Are Zambian products being promoted enough? That's a question posed to you. In case you're just joining us, you can actually call and contribute on this platform, and Mr. Ngoma will be actually answering your questions. Zipporah.
And so just now, before we get to discuss in detail, we're looking at the current issue of fuel, Mr. Ngoma, where fuel is being sold at a high price, but then recently you were in Chantumbu. Can you just tell us what's really happening in Chantumbu in terms of fuel production?
Thank you so much. The issue that is happening, the activity that is happening in Chantumbu, Zipporah, is an interesting one. That is an innovation born from our own Zambian engineer by the name of Mulenga, Chikupule Mulenga. Okay. This gentleman has had the idea to produce fuel from waste material, plastic materials like these HDPE plastics, as well as used tires. You realize that most of these are a byproduct of production of fuel, okay, wherever the fuel is being produced out there. And so Chikupule Mulenga has been on this maybe for the past almost 3 to 4 years. You know, this has been a project which, when he started on paper, people thought maybe his thinking was not correct, that he was thinking about something that can never happen. And so that's the nature, you know, of us people, especially here in Zambia. You know, we don't believe what we see. Okay, we only believe what we see. What is on paper, it is an illusion. And so Mulenga did contact his uncle, who now lives in the US, about the project. His uncle asked him how much money he needed. The whole setup, according to what it is today, it costed plus or minus 50,000 United States dollars. And so the day when Mulenga went to run the equipment, it took them almost close to 16 hours until midnight when the drip of oil started coming out. That was a breakthrough. But little did he know exactly what he had produced until he took the samples to our Zambia Bureau of Standard laboratory there along just after the rail line on Greater North Road, you know. So the officers there at Zambia Bureau of Standards also, when he presented his product, they asked him what that was. And unfortunately, the guy says, we don't test things that you do not know because we don't want our equipment to be harmed. And to his surprise also, the cost of testing exceeded far much more than what he thought. They charged him close to, is it 6,000? Somewhere there to test the money which he did not have. But his uncle again gave him the money until the product was tested. The parameters showed that that was petroleum product, fuel as well as diesel. That was a breakthrough for him. And then today, okay, he approached me sometime last year, Mr. Ngoma, we have got this product, you know, like any other fellow. Me too, I kept a blind eye to it, a blind ear to it. I didn't really, until this year he said, again, Mr. Ngoma, you remember that? I said, what was it? Then he forwarded. I said, oh, we should get on it. Advised it. We were put on a conducted tour of his plant. Amazing enough, it was happening, you know, clearly it was happening. Petroleum was dripping. It was something that I also couldn't imagine it was happening here in Zambia. Then with my immediate team, we did package that aired on ZNBC TV1. Shortly after the news item, we received overwhelming calls, not only here in Zambia, but as far as Canada, United States of America. Nigeria has been even more calls from there. South Africa here, Botswana, Namibia, and also our local investors here. They've been wanting to partner with Mlenga in his quest to produce petroleum products on a larger scale. What was more fulfilling to us as BIZ is that our local bank, you know, the Zambia National Commercial Bank, saw an opportunity in that kind of investment. They did not take time but invite us to their boardroom there to discuss on how best they can come in and then to try and see if we can scale up production, knowing very well that the economy hinges on petroleum products. You know, delivery of goods and services today is being hampered because some people cannot afford the high price of petroleum products. And so we were so delighted. We visited a full-packed delegation from the Zambia National Commercial Bank and from our side. I was amazed, you know, a lady was heading the delegation, Zipporah, and very much keen to try and see if we can take up the partnership. So right now, I think things are going on. We should soon be getting a feedback because we provided what the bank needed. As if that is all, you know. We have had calls now. We've got an invitation to go and tour in Deni, in Ndola, to see how best we can partner with them and begin to produce the fuel from there. You know, those are ventures that are taking place right now.
So we have the story that you are actually talking about, Mr. Ngoma. Let's just take a look so that people can actually tag along to see what actually went down in the production of this fuel locally.
Fuel is one of the factors that determines the direction of economies, as the prices of everyday items is tied to the price of fuel oil such as diesel and petrol, which is used in transportation. For import-dependent countries like Zambia, the price of fuel is determined by changes on the international market, leaving the country with no say in the matter. The recent removal of fuel subsidies in Zambia has been a heated topic in various circles due to the increase in fuel prices and an anticipated increase in the price of commodities. The local manufacturing of fuel by the Central African Renewable Energy Corporation in Lusaka Shantumbu area has sparked hope in citizens. According to the manufacturers, about 700 liters of diesel and petrol is being manufactured here using latest technologies from vehicle tires and single-use plastic material at a price of 10 kwacha per liter of diesel and petrol. Stakeholders from the Zambia Development Agency ZDA and the banking sector visited the site Wednesday evening to assess the potential of producing fuel locally. Central African Renewable Energy Corporation Director Mr. Mulenga explains that the fuel manufactured here is more friendly to the environment in comparison to the regular one.
You will see that when you look at that feed, all of it was, I would say, rubbish, which was lying all over. It was waste, which was lying all over. Where we got that feed from, believe me, when the day we picked it up, the owners of the yard were very happy because they were saying they didn't know how to dispose of this cabbage. So you find a lot of people will just be burning it indiscriminately, and it contributes to pollution in this world. Now, you have seen what is here. Our plant is running through and through. Instead of openly burning that and just wasting it, we are burning it. We've got a chimney there. There's literally no smoke coming out of that place. The gas that is coming out on the other end is reusable gas, LPG, which is used for cooking and other industrial purposes. So in terms of contributing to the green economy and the green environment, this is very, very green fuel because it is creating a very, very, very minimum carbon footprint.
Meanwhile, Buy Zambia campaign executive director Mr. Eva Zingoma has called on investors to come on board in order to actualize the local production of fuel.
This project you have seen today here, it is a viable project. Even if the community out there can do their cost-benefit analysis, they will see that their return on investment will be attained with less difficulties because the commodity we are dealing with is on high demand.
The corporation has reviewed that some samples have been sent to the Zambia Bureau of Standards ZAPS for testing and has called for investor funding to see the local production of fuel being done on a large scale. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Welcome back, and we are discussing Zambian products, if they are being promoted enough. You may have a business, a certain particular business that you can be actually doing right there in community, and you feel like the product is not being promoted enough. People actually opt to buy from other foreign stores other than what you are doing. What could be your question or your contribution to this program as we find solutions to actually embark on the promotion aspect? Mr. Ngoma, you were just explaining that story. We are from watching where this local company is actually producing fuel, which is of high quality.
We have a caller, Alex.
Let's just take a call. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Ogri Siri.
Thank you. You can go ahead with your contribution.
What's the name of father of the family?
Mr. Ivan Singoma.
Mr. Ngoma, good morning, sir.
Good morning, thanks so much.
Mr. Ngoma, I'm interested in the project that you are doing. I'm coming from a risk management background. I think I thought maybe as a company, we can partner together and see how we can do to create a risk profile know-how and help you to build, so that when you deal with some of the investors, you have already created your own parameters of your own risk. I don't know if you have already gone in that area already.
All right, thank you for your contribution.
Thank you. You'll be able to actually respond even after the show. Maybe we can engage on callers that will be having to want to meet you personally. But on this particular show, we want to investigate why products are not promoted. Our own product. You can be in a business of maybe tomato, let's say, as simple as that, even chairs. You make a sofa, but you feel like it's not promoted. We have a youthful population, Mr. Ngoma. As Zambia, we're quite a young generation. What would be your general analysis why we don't have we are not aggressive enough to promote our own product?
Alex, thank you so much. The issue here to deal with local not being embraced at a higher level, it's one issue to deal with mindset, you know. Us as BIZ now, we are grappling to try and see if we can change the people's mindset to realize that what they are doing is of higher significance, sometimes even more than what they think is imported from out there, you know?
Oh, we have another caller.
Let's just attend. Hope you don't lose that.
Hello, good morning. You're through to the cabinet. You're through to the cabinet breakfast. Show your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution.
Okay, so the line is not very clear, but I hope you can get me. This is Reverend Manduli calling me from within Lusaka.
You can go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Ngoma.
Good morning, Reverend Mandula. Sure.
In response to the topic of discussion, Zambian products being promoted enough, I think that first of all, congratulations, Mr. Ngoma, for your contribution, I think, to promoting, Zambian products or by Zambia. I congratulate you. I think I've followed part of what you've been doing, and it's gratifying that you've been passionate about it to promote, our own indigenous products, and you need to be applauded. And I hope that a lot of other people can, network with you so that we begin to appreciate our own things. There is no country that is developed by, promoting foreign stuff. We need to promote our own indigenous things. I think there are a lot of things. There's also, I think, another young man, he must have watched that young man from Southern Province that was able to generate power. These are things that we should be, building synergies and promoting such local innovations. Just like the issue of the fuel, because they're talking about, a liter at almost 22 parts, and we have people with the brains and the heart and the innovation, not just to produce locally born and bred products, but also to be able to contribute to our economy, and also in terms of, I think, pricing, because if we produce our own and we invest into it, I think the cost of also pricing will reduce. Yes. Because there are a lot of other factors that come with, importation of fuel from, beyond our borders. And these are the things that we need to be looking at.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Reverend.
So you're just talking about the mindset that our local people have, and after that you can be actually addressed from the contribution that the Reverend has made in terms of importation of this fuel and how much it costs the country to actually import the products from foreign countries.
Oh yeah, so just to continue on the issue to deal with mindset, and also there's an issue of pulling him down, okay? That will never develop. But
what do you mean by pulling him down? In the man's language.
People do not want to see Alex to progress. Alex ndiye achita vicha. It can't be like that. Let's try and sabotage him until Alex is disabled. He will not produce anymore,
So what could be the reason maybe for that attitude?
One, lack of love. Zipporah, where there is no love, there is no prosperity. So first of all, before we do anything, as a country, as a people, we must embrace love. When we love ourselves, then we will move on to the next stage. We've already got love here. Then everything else will be falling in place. You know, the Buy It campaign is not my campaign now. It is campaign for every Zambian. You know, it was just something that I hatched, and so now it should be embraced by well-meaning Zambians to try and drive it, because the changes, the ripple effects that comes with the campaign will enrich ourselves. You know, there will be no more capital flighting to go and fetch products that we are able to produce locally here. I am glad to note that Zambia has been earmarked as a country that is going to be one of the participants in production of batteries that will be used in electric cars, because we are neighboring with Congo. The other materials are found in Congo, and the other materials are found here in Zambia. And so setting up industry here in Zambia is more, you know, our political situation allows that business flourishes. There's no tension. We do not have political tension, you know. Here we are using now the pastel kind of thing that we're politically stable, economically viable, you know. So these are the things that we should capitalize on. It should not take a foreigner to come and see opportunities here and begin to produce whilst we are watching. Instead of us being CEOs of those organizations, we are being workers, you know. Yet, had we thought...
Oh, we have
let's attend to the call. Good morning. Good morning. You're through to a breakfast show. Your name and you're calling us from. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, this is Marcus calling.
Yes, please. Your contribution.
Yes, I like the message that is coming through and speaker there. I haven't gotten his name very well. Say good morning, sir.
Mr. Ngoma.
According to the topic that you've given there, I think we have not loved our product most of the time, apart from the food service. When you talk about the same part of your system, people will say, it is a mechanic if they want to serve it, but there's no, at least it's the culture of the brand and what. So we've not loved our own. If we put love first to our own, I think the land can provide. There are more questions if other people bring cars from the outside compared to our own. South Africa are doing it on their own. But even us, we can do it. But we need more love. Not just that we are a Christian nation when we cannot love our own.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
And now to ask this, we can get to what the man in the panel to give us his rank. If we see more and ask more what he was explaining on the three petitions.
Okay, great. We'll be able to update you after the show on his contact. Thank you so much.
And so, Mr. Ngoma, riding on what the caller said, saying we love foreign things, we don't love our own. There's so many dead industries, or maybe industries which have become white elephants here in Zambia. We only hear about them. Some of us who were born maybe in the late 1990s, we only hear about these products or these industries. Maybe you can just tell us maybe about what kind of industries Zambia had, the current status, and maybe what would you like to say, especially now that we've got a new administration?
Thank you so much, Zipporah. One of the viable industries that I remember, because I was also just born in 1970. Yeah, today, yes, just, you know, it's just like yesterday. Today I am 51. Yes, you know, I remember very well as you drive from Lusaka going south, southern part of Zambia, here in Kafue, we had nitrogen chemicals, which was very, very viable, supplying fertilizers across the country. When farmers never lacked fertilizer. We had Kafue Textiles there in Kafue. You know, Kafue Estate is a product of, was built because of Kafue Textiles. And so now it is defunct. And then going further, you know, There's only one surviving. Nakambala Sugar is still surviving. And then also before Nakambala, on your right hand side after Munali Hills, there used to be Nega Nega, the brick factory. You know, if you see the OP structures across the country, they are in one color, pan brick. You know, pan brick. That baked pan brick, that was a product of Nega Nega. Across the country, wherever you go, where OP built their structures, they are with the pan brick. So that is, it is normal now. And when you go in the bush there are houses in Nega Nega there, in the bush. You see houses like the ones that used to be in Kapili because of Kapili Glass Factory. Okay. Then going down further there, also in Livingston Motor Assembly, yeah, we've got Kariba Textiles, where our chief Mpezen used to work. He was working in at Kariba Textiles there. Another kupanga mabata kuchota machete, kuchisa machete. You know, today we are celebrating him as our Royal Highness and then in February, sometime towards the end, there will be the Nchwala traditional ceremony where industries in Eastern Province itself. You know, we had a bicycle plant, bicycle here, Zambia, to higher levels. Okay, every province had its own activity, different from the other. Up in the north, you know, there's Kateshi coffee there. You know, coffee was being produced here. I do not know now what is happening. Then to Western Province, you know, cashew nut. So each province had its own comparative advantage. Northwestern, you know, the cannery that was packaging complete now, putting up a factory there, as well as in Katete here to see if the fruit and vegetable packaging can be back to life. You know, there are quite a number of activities that were happening in Zipporah. Nonetheless, today I think we have got a new crop of you guys, the youths, you know, that are quite innovative. And so we would like to call upon government to support such kind of innovation. And I'm glad to note that the new Dawn government has created the Ministry of Small, Medium and Enterprises to try and just focus more on that. I only hope these will not be stories, but we want these stories to be translated into the actual things. We need to begin to see the youths employing us, the old who cannot think, you know. Yes.
Maybe let's get to another part that could play a factor in this promotion of our local products. And the preamble of our show to say we don't seem to have more practical courses taken from pre-grades and secondary education, even sometimes even the tertiary level. What would be your call to the curriculum that we are having currently?
Alex, I think we have been, people have been talking, you know, that it's high time the curriculum change. They should no more talking about Omabilis in these schools. Yeah, we should not be talking of Kenya Pithakas. Let's be talking about how best we can add value to our resource that we have. Let's have practical activities in these colleges and schools, wherever, at whatever level we are. You know, that was kind of colonization that the colonies brought into us. It was a thing that we should not be thinking, but they think, as we only be told, oh, Nyamulani Spanaija, Perekani Paja. How can Dr. Livingston discover institution by importing starch for their tests in their laboratories? Because then schools are now producing starch. They've begun to produce starch for their experiments in the laboratory. We had the Copperbelt University is doing quite well, you know? And I'm also glad to note that the Copperbelt has now taken over ZRA in terms of trying to modernize. That is also offering is more than that which we are bringing, the balance of payment. It means that for once as a...
Onions were banned, but then we found that the Zambian market was not actually able to meet the standards. And then recently we've also seen the Ministry of Education banning the importation of desks. So people are worried, like giving an example from the potatoes, are saying, Zambian carpenters going to be able to meet the demand. So maybe what do you think could be wrong? What could be the solution?
Let's just pick a call before we get to that part. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, you're through to our breakfast show. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes. I just need to contribute on the situation.
Okay, right.
The woman is talking about the industry that we have in Kaunta time. The problem that we face in this country is that we don't support local industry. This year, that time, we were able to make sure from sugar surely, Zambia, with the latest technology that we have, the interest from sugar now. Brazil is able to make level from that. There's no machine. I think Zambia is now. The problem that we have, we don't have one global industry. And when it starts to become, unless they assume in leadership, they are in that business, they will support. If they are not in that business of death, there is no country in the world that has to do with foreigners. If you don't have good growth industry, you will not go to it. But you have to pay to look on United States because that's smart thing. The third website, the guys did their task. That's why you say people are coming now. The first is go back and come down for those people.
Motor vehicle production. We've heard, Toyota Zambia has recorded a model so. Means that somewhere they've seen that, there they didn't do quite well. So we should allow it also here in Zambia. Why do people want us to continue supporting foreign economies? I think this is on that one, the new Dawn government has done the best.
We have a caller, Mr. Ngoma. Hello, good morning. Yes, I through to the cabinet breakfast show. Your name and where you're calling us from and your contribution.